This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z. I'm Matt Fonsland. We've always defined ourselves by the ability to overcome the impossible, and we count these moments when we dare to aim higher, to break barriers, to reach for the stars, to make the unknown known. That and more after a word from our sponsor, NAPA Autotech Training. Let NAPA Autotech's Build-A-Tech program, like Build-A-Bear, help you turn your general technician into a moneymaker for your shop. Make them a profitable member of your team. Go to napautotech.com for more details. Last week, I did a technical episode, and this week I'm going even more technical. Just maybe not on a car. I was kind of thinking about an idea. Really, one of the kids, they're studying science in school, elementary school. I won't get into specifics because I'll get riled up because I don't like how they teach science. But they asked me if I thought there was life beyond Earth, if there was somewhere out there life. And I said that's a really vague question when you start thinking about it, because I think when you're asking me this, you're thinking, are there other intelligent life? Somebody looking up at the stars, or something looking up at the stars, wondering if there's life. Where really life is not that it's not special. It is extremely special, but we could be talking about bacteria level all the way up to intelligent life, and enough to there's maybe advanced civilizations, although that might be less likely. And my answer was yes. And they're like, why? Or are you sure? I said I think it could almost be guaranteed. And they're wondering why. My answer, and that's kind of what really inspired this idea, was try to imagine, and this is nothing. This is nothing new. I did not make this up. This is used by theoretical physicists, cosmologists, time and time again, that to just consider each, a billion, or a trillion monkeys lined up, organized however, and they each have their own typewriter, and you give them infinite amount of time, billions and billions of years. What do you think the chances are that one of those monkeys at one of those typewriters randomly types out the entire work of Encyclopedia Britannica or Shakespeare or Stephen King? Just pick one. At first glance, when you're not considering the sheer number, you find that to be an almost impossible task, because how many monkeys can you really picture in your head at one time? A stadium full? Even that's tough to start wrapping your head around, but start thinking about these numbers. Billions and billions of monkeys at typewriters. Maybe even trillions and trillions. Now what are the chances? With an infinite amount of time, eventually it will happen. Just random. It will happen. They're banging away on those keys. Eventually it will happen. They'll do it. One of them will do it. For sure. You may be wondering, where in the world am I going with this? What does this have to do with anything? And I get to thinking about, messages I get, phone calls I get, emails I get, stuff like that about just shop life. Might be managers or owners messaging about employees, and vice versa. Employees messaging about work environments, shop owners, leadership, stuff like that. And this occurs to me that, and really it's both sides. I think if you listen to much of what I do, or said that, it's up to leaders to lead, and usually the people in the best position to lead are the owner or managers, those tasked with leading, with managing. If you don't set goals and expectations, or discuss a means and then settle on a means to get there, a path to get there, you're essentially handing all your employees typewriters, letting them just bang away at the keys and hoping that one of them just randomly gets it right. Just brings your idea to fruition, your dream to fruition. I think that happens a lot. I think goals a lot of times are really vague, like, let's make money. Well, that's a good goal. Let's break records. Okay, what are the records? How are we going to do that? How much power do I, as technician in the back, have over some of these? Like, I don't have all that much control over this. And I think that happens a lot, where we're just hoping can give you little tidbits of a goal, no real path to get there, or a vague path of very little direction, and hoping, or not even hoping. I think sometimes just flat out expecting to figure it out. And it happens. I just don't know if it happens the way they want it to. And also the time factors. How long will that take? If I have however many billion, trillion monkeys banging away on typewriters, how long will it take for them to randomly spew out whatever, the lyrics to all the songs by Metallica? Like, what are the chances? It will happen. How long is it going to take? Right? 100 years? 1,000? 10,000? A billion? How long does it take employees to figure out how to accomplish these goals with very little direction? And I think this translates to virtually any real relationship, I guess, when you don't communicate your ideas, your goals, your dreams, your needs. Don't communicate it. You're basically handing somebody a typewriter and hoping they will randomly punch the keys and knock it out of the ballpark. And then we do it time and time and time again. And I guess expecting different results, like the right results. And what kind of time frame are we giving for this miracle to happen? A lot of times not nearly enough time. And then we're somehow disappointed. How could you not figure this out? How do you not know what I meant? It's not that hard. We got to make more money. I need you to get this gross profit percentage on parts. Well, what were the tools for me to do this? Am I allowed to change the matrix? What's the path? You can see it done from employees to managers, owners. You can see it happen at the front counter with advisors interacting with clients and vice versa. It's tough to kind of press clients to be better communicators. So at the front counter, we have to be better about extracting data. We have to be better about creating that environment that allows our customers to be able to express themselves and get out not just the nuts and bolts of what their concerns are, but also fears, and I'll give us a chance to alleviate them and start building trust. NAPA Autotech training sessions are being conducted day and night in a town near you. This training caters to every level within your organization, be it a mechanical assistant, a mechanical specialist, a technology specialist, or a driver safety calibration specialist. Imagine a one-stop shop training partner in NAPA Autotech that will lead your team to a path to greatness. Autotech's entry-level Build-A-Tech classes convert the untapped potential of your new hires into money-making mechanical specialists. Autotech's higher-level tech update classes introduce specialists to the world of ever-changing technologies, which prevents your shop from getting technologically stagnant. Remember, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And, turning to the front of the store, The Autotech Service Advisor class is an awesome way to hone your client advocate skill set, ultimately benefiting the customer through an improved vehicle repair experience. But it doesn't stop there. Imagine an electric vehicle class that takes your specialist well past the mundane, yet necessary safety topics. Well, it's here. Autotech's EV Ready training is a week-long curriculum that takes participants through a hands-on experience involving hybrids and electric vehicles. The session kicks off with the use of PPE and proper tooling while touching on required OSHA regulations. Then, the students dive into the lab vehicles to gain knowledge of the common high-voltage components on EV and hybrid vehicles and their function. Attendees will be taken on a path exposing them to different electric vehicle manufacturers to compare component form and location. Additionally, information about Level 1 and Level 2 charging systems will be included, along with a quick look at DC to DC charging. The operation and maintenance of subsystems are explored, including the different modes of Tesla operations, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Commit to taking your business to the next level with NAPA Autotech training. If we keep pushing this further, this idea, it also translates to repairs. If we keep going along with this idea, this also goes and translates well into the repair end, specifically with the vehicle, where if we don't have paths, something that I think veteran techs take for granted, we just kind of know what to do because through trial and error, banging away on the keyboards or having mentors show us the way, we've now figured it out. We kind of have an idea of the path to a repair or the path of a diagnostic analysis where we're going to follow this protocol to find the root cause. We take that for granted, that we really don't think about it much, especially if we do this time and time again and get pretty competent at it when we're trying to show someone else how. It can be somewhat overwhelming. We do one of two things, really. One is we can be really short, and not give a lot because it's so easy. It's common sense. You should do this. It's common sense. Use your brain. Or we go to the other extreme where I probably live this is overwhelming. There's so much to try to convey to you to try to explain to you why I did this way and knew to do this or knew the results from this test that led me this direction, that led me to this test, that led me to this test, that led me to this diagnosis is not something I can convey to you in 5 minutes. And there might be truth to that, but we could start with the Cliff Notes version, or something I've been trying to do more and more is just really give them links to resources that they could start that journey a little bit on their own and then hopefully start some sort of a dialogue. By doing that, really, it starts to separate who really wants to know versus who thinks they want to know. Or they just want it handed to them on a silver platter, and that just doesn't work very well. It doesn't stick. It doesn't give any foundational knowledge to, build up the rest of this. It's shaky. It falls apart easily, right? If you don't have a sound foundation, the rest of it can be built really well and not matter. It's going to fall apart. So I've found that to be a good angle. And, a lot of the stuff I referenced a couple episodes ago about online resources, those are a lot of the links I share, amongst others that might be more manufacturer specific. And I don't mean so much like the car manufacturer. It could. A lot of times it's like equipment manufacturers. So if we're talking about scope captures and waveform analysis, I might send them to Pico website. I may send them to a Snap-on website. I may send them to certain groups on Facebook. Some means to start working on a way to interpret this stuff. Magazines, even one of the trade rags, have them subscribe and start reading those articles. If anything, it hopefully generates curiosity. They can come back to me, ask questions, show me something. Hey, did you look at this? article. What do you think of it? Stuff like that. And like I said, the ones that really want to know, they dive into it, and the ones that really don't, and it kind of solves itself. But if you don't have a path, and one you've learned to create through training and experience, and also the experience of others, it's random, right? You watch somebody who kind of doesn't know what they're doing. It's like watching a monkey banging away on a typewriter, hoping to randomly come up with the correct answer. The moral of this episode is physics translates to real life. I'm kind of kidding. Don't do that. It doesn't always translate, at least not philosophically, it doesn't. And if somebody tries to tell you, I don't know if I would buy into that. So yeah, I think we got to work on communicating our dreams, goals, ideas, thoughts, feelings, needs. And the first few times you do it, it's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody, because one, being open is disconcerting. Like it's worrisome. You're exposing yourself. On the flip side, it's often very uncomfortable for people to have open and direct thoughts presented to them because they're not used to it. Over time, we've become very good at dancing around subjects, hinting at things, causes a bunch of guesswork, but then you would think somebody would be very happy or relieved when you're direct, and it turns out sometimes it's the exact opposite. But the more we do it, the better we get at it, and the better we get at receiving it. So yeah, let's work on conveying those thoughts and details, and working up the paths to get to where we need to go. And then also keep hammering away on developing our paths from a repair standpoint, our processes. And I guess I kind of skipped one of those main paths, or a good way to start is RTFM, for multiple reasons. One, if you don't know, here's the path that's just laid out. If you do, it's still good to reference, because that is also our kind of our armor. That's the reality of it. If we live in a very litigious society, and if things go sideways, you need to be able to fall back on, you followed a procedure, a path set by the designer and manufacturer of the vehicle, of the system. There you have it. A billion or a trillion monkeys on typewriters related to fixing cars. The only thing left for me is to come up with an episode relating Jurassic Park to auto repair for Matt Skundrich. And then I hope you got a kick out of that. And if you have any thoughts or ideas, or want to be on the show, you can find me on social media, or send me an email at mattfonslopodcast@gmail.com. Before I take off here, just like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, NAPA Autotech Training, and also thank the Aftermarket Radio Network. And until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Matt Fonslow, diagnosing the aftermarket A to Z on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Matt on your favorite listening app. He's very interested in what you have to say. Let him know what you'd like him to cover, and come on the show. Matt is all for advancing the aftermarket. Find Matt Fonslow on social media and connect, or on aftermarketradionetwork.com.